Using federal law in section 212F of the Immigration and Nationality Act, I will order my government to deny entry to all communists and all Marxists. Those who come to and join our country must love our country. We want them to love our country. We don't want them when they want to destroy our country. Welcome to America. We want to destroy your country. Thank you very much. So we're going to keep foreign Christian-hating communists, Marxists, and socialists out of America.
Trump claimed that should he get reelected as president of the United States, one of the first orders of business would be to ban the immigration of Marxists and communists into the United States. And he specifically mentioned section 212F, 212, what do you say, 212F?
He says everything in a comical way.
Anyway, so he's referring to the Immigration and Nationality Act, section 212F. And I looked that up to make sure that it states what he claims it's stating.
Yeah, because you never know.
You never know, of course. And unfortunately it does. I'm just interested to see how he would enforce this exactly, but it writes that the provision authorizes the president to suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens whose entry he finds would be detrimental to the interests of the United States. The provision has been in the INA since the INA's original enactment in 1952, and the INA, of course, is the Immigration and Nationality Act.
Yeah, so first question, of course, is which wave of communists did I miss? Was there like a giant influx of Marxists in the country and we just didn't hear about it?
Oh, totally. I mean, everyone should be, all the capitalists should be concerned. They are being overpowered by the Marxists and communists in the country.
Yeah, and the ones that are coming in from abroad, that's specifically. The only people that could begin to fit that description are Cubans that go to Florida. They're not communists, they're escaping communism, right? But they're at least a wave from a communist country, right? But other than that, I've never heard of a wave of communists washing ashore in America or any place. I mean, so what's he gonna, so what does that mean? Does it mean he's gonna ban some rando Marxist professor from entering?
Listen,
like, this is absurd.
This is what this means, okay? It's a performance. So congratulations, Trump. Another wonderful performance from Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
It's theater. There's no real action behind it. There's no real proposal behind it. It's signaling to his supporters and Republican voters that this is what he stands for. This is the performative nonsense he wants to engage in to send a message.
Yeah, and so, but there's two other layers to it. And so this is important, guys. Number one, Republicans set traps for the left and hope that they fall into them. So the flag burning was the classic one, right? So when we say, well, yeah, well, technically burning a flag is protected by the First Amendment, they go, aha, they like burning flags, right? And that works spectacularly. Even though you're thinking logically that shouldn't work, it does. Because all that anybody hears is Democrats like burning flags, okay? In this case, he's saying, we're gonna ban the Marxists and communists. And you go, well, what are you gonna, like I said, you're gonna ban a random professor? That's not right, right? And then they go, aha, the Democrats are protecting Marxists and communists because they like them so much. That's the trick that's being played here. And then he sprinkles in a second one about how much he loves America, and you shouldn't underestimate that one. Democrats make a giant mistake when they don't talk about, when they say that they don't love America or they don't go along with that type of stuff. A lot of Americans, including ones in the middle, they don't like any talk of not liking America. And so it might sound.
I'm still mad at those LARPers over in Poland.
That's true. I mean, biggest American defender over here.
Coping over it.
Yeah, and so, so guys, it sounds unsophisticated and dumb, but there's actually some decent political strategy buried underneath that.
Now, the theater continues, not necessarily with Donald Trump, but a Florida senator named Rick Scott, a man who is notorious for engaging in Medicare fraud, which led to the largest settlement by a company engaged in Medicare fraud in American history. But nonetheless, he put out this super awkward video where he essentially says the same thing Trump said.
Let me give you a travel warning. If you're a socialist, communist, somebody that believes in big government, I would think twice. Think twice if you're thinking about taking a vacation or moving to Florida. We're the free state of Florida. We actually don't believe in socialism. We actually know people, and some people in our state lived under it. We know people lived under socialism. It's not good. It's not good for anybody. So if you're thinking about it, if you think about coming to Florida and you're a socialist or communist, think twice. We like freedom, liberty, capitalism, things like that.
Things like that. I'm wondering how many takes he had before he settled on that one. And that video, not the greatest delivery. And I should note that he's facing re-election in 2024. As I mentioned earlier, Rick Scott is a United States Senator from the state of Florida, where there is a sizable population of anti-communist Cubans there, Venezuelans as well. And so he's just signaling to them, he's just messaging to them in an effort to get re-elected. That's what this is really about. The idea that Florida would issue a travel advisory banning socialists, communists, Marxists from traveling to their state is insane. But more importantly, the other thing I want to just quickly mention is, people get mad at me when I both sides these types of situations, but I'm gonna both sides it. Because while Rick Scott is engaging in a political stunt and theater in lieu of actual governing and legislation, you get the same thing on the other end of the political spectrum, on the other side of the aisle, because just a few months ago, you had Democrats issuing travel advisories telling people don't travel to Florida because it's super dangerous. So The Hill reported on it at the time. Scott's statement is a mocking response to recent travel issued by social justice groups declaring Florida an unsafe state for certain minority groups. The NAACP issued a travel advisory warning that Florida has become hostile to Black Americans under Governor Ron DeSantis. The League of United Latin American Citizens, a civil rights organization, and Equality Florida, an LGBTQ rights group, also issued travel warnings. The League of United Latin American Citizens engaging in this when South Florida is one of the most diverse parts of the country when it comes to various Latin American cultures being represented. Like, guys, isn't there real work to do?
Yeah, so look, I agree with you, Anna, with a little bit of an exception, which is the LGBTQ groups. I get it.
I agree.
I mean, they've passed specific laws against that group in Florida. And if you're a little concerned about traveling to Florida because of how disgusting their politicians are and the laws that they've passed, I get that.
Okay, but the other thing I want to just mention, I was just in Florida, right? I was in Key West. Duval Street is like, there are gay flags everywhere.
Yep.
Okay, there's debauchery and fun and pride everywhere. So like, look, are there certain parts of Florida where gay people, members of the LGBTQ community might feel a little bit of hostility? I'm sure. But to say that all of Florida is super dangerous, don't go to Florida, it's dangerous. It's a little crazy. Yeah,
so my point is, if you feel uncomfortable, right? Like let's say that, not let's say, why Oklahoma passed a law saying banning Sharia law. Now, what does that mean? That just means we're hostile to Muslims. And so I was a little concerned because I had a nephew who lived in Oklahoma. And so I was like, dude, don't let people know you're Muslim because they kind of don't like you there, right? So I get all that. But I love the NAACP and their leaders have been on the show many times. But it was I think this was a publicity stunt and not a great one. Okay, so I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the Latino group that did it. We can all have disagreements about it. So Rick Scott is partly striking back and partly doing the trick that I talked about earlier with Trump. We're gonna try to get Democrats to associate themselves with communists and socialists, etc. Right? Now, having said all that, it is really dumb. Like I'm gonna go to Florida in about a month. So now I'm a capitalist, but I like Democratic Socialists. I like Bernie Sanders. Is Bernie Sanders not allowed to go to Florida anymore? He's saying that this is formal. He said, formally, you are not to come.
What are they gonna do?
I don't even know what that means.
They're gonna place him under arrest?
Yeah, and he also included people who like big government. Well, I mean, I don't like big government that invades Iraq and that.
Are you kidding me?
It's between you and your doctor, but there are parts of big government that I like. Am I not allowed in Florida?
No, hold on. How many state lawmakers are for big government? to the point where they're getting involved in like every little bit of curriculum in schools, where they're like engaging in legislation that would basically dictate whether or not parents can provide gender affirming care. They just passed an abortion ban past 6 weeks. Come on, you guys love big government. By the way, both sides love big government for different reasons. So everyone shut up and stop pretending like you don't.
Yeah, every Republican politician in Florida loves big government. Well, I'm not gonna let that woman make the decision for her. The jackbooted thugs of the government should make that personal decision for her. So spare me. Okay, last thing, look at the contrast between Scott and Trump. Like, Rick Scott is so awkward. He's such a bad politician. Whereas Trump's like, 2 and 2, everything he says is funny, right? Yeah. And whether you like him or not, whether you're entertained by him or not, is not relevant.
Look at his face.
Whether his voters are entertained and like him is what's relevant, right? Yeah, that's a showman right there, for better and for worse, right? Rick Scott's like, you get away, commies, you bad.
We like capitalism and stuff like that.
Okay, and every time I see Rick Scott, I get disgusted with the Democratic Party. Why? They lost to that guy 3 times, even though he is one of the biggest criminals in American history. In American history. And he sucks at politics, and the Democrats are like, how would we beat him? I don't know. God, such a pathetic party. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.